The ANKTIVA immunotherapy and its IL15 superagonist just drove massive 700% revenue to around $113 million in full year 2025. Rating cash on hand sits solid at $243 million as we head into 2026. And this company's pipeline is firing on all cylinders. Blunt expansions in bladder cancer, promising data in lung and even glioblastoma, that's brain cancer, plus an off-the-shelf natural killer platform that's hard to replicate. In a field full of NK cell and immunotherapy competitors chasing similar ideas, IBRX stands out with a true differentiator, that integrated cancer bioshield, combining ANKTIVA's powerful immune activation with scalable, ready-to-use engineered NK natural killer cells. Today, I'm going to explore why this setup could make IBRX a standout in the crowded biotech space, the revenue momentum that's building sustainability, the science that gives it an edge over rivals like Fate, Carta, J&J, and Merck, and what it all means for the company's trajectory in 2026 and beyond. No doom and gloom here, just a clear-eyed look at a story that shifted from survival mode to potential breakout, and we start right now. Good morning, everybody. Macro Ghost here, Monday, January 19th, 6:34 in the morning on the East Coast. IBRX is already open in Europe. It's gapped up. And over the weekend, I put out a long-form video here, and people were asking some really good questions, so I wanted to go over those questions. I wanted to go over a tweet that was made on X, and then I wanted to share with you what AI had told me by parsing the internet. First things first, let's look at the chart, IBRX here. And we have a nice, like I talked about, this is on the daily now. I want to look on the daily because I'm looking for levels. And I see the RSI down here is what the RSI tells me it's overbought or oversold. Right now it's overbought at 92 on the daily. That's very overbought. But I don't think I would be concerned with that because the RSI can come down and come back up, and the trend is our friend. So the trend is now up. We have started an uptrend, and we are going to be managing this uptrend with real live information and data that we get from IBRX that should continue the IBRX bull market, okay? So that being said, I drew a line here at about $7, and I expect it today to come up to 7 and test that line. That's a technical breakout line. So if it gets above that, I would expect it to keep running. What are my targets? Probably 12 is next, and then 20. But there's going to be pullbacks along the way, so you should know that. Do not FOMO in. This is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. If you want to get in, I would always wait for red days. Red days will come. Look at the chart, everybody. I mean, even in the green over here, you see over here, big green, there's still going to be red. Big green, there's still going to be red. You know, big green, there's still red. So be patient, be disciplined, stay focused, and you're going to catch some very good prices in the near term. Okay, that's what I wanted to say about that. And the technical level is set up for you guys right here. Let's go over to Mr. Dr. Anton here. And my family's also in the medical field. That's how I got into IBRX about 7-8 years ago. My dad kept talking about how revolutionary it's going to be. That was 8 years ago. But I wanted to go over this because this is very interesting. Give him a follow here, like, and maybe retweet. I'll retweet him right here. So he gives you a corporate history, which is really cool. I like this rather than a traditional IPO public pivot. I like the strategic leadership angle here. There's the management. Dr. Soon Xiong is the founder. The CEO is Richard Adcock. I also really enjoyed the clinical pipeline. It's like, okay, what are we doing here? Now, a lot of this language should be foreign to you guys as it's foreign to me. I'm not in the medical field. I'm a financial person, and I'm not in the biotech industry per se. I cover global macro. But I do know that lung cancer is very serious. I do know that glioblastoma is an aggressive form of brain cancer, actually. And I do know that IBRX is FDA approved for bladder cancer. So this stuff I pretty much know. But if you don't know, he gives you some rundowns here. And it's always valuable to do your own research. So I think that you could start here. So basically what he's saying is there's a lot of commercial and clinical strategies. Commercial is for going to market. ANKTIVA, bladder cancer, is commercialized. So it's earning revenue 700% year on year right here, commercial success. But clinical strategies are what's in the pipeline. That's really interesting to know. So late stage clinical trials are in bladder cancer, lung cancer, head and neck cancer. Really cool. And then he goes mid-stage efficacy proofs. And again, words that I don't really know. So I'm not going to pretend to know them. But phase 1, I do know that. Phase 1, 2, and 3, and then approval, glioblastoma, cancer vaccines, HIV/AIDS, which I thought was really cool. And I looked at their website. They're doing trials in Thailand to see how ANKTIVA responds with patients diagnosed with HIV and or AIDS. So really cool. What I like to see, and as a finance person, I like to see competitors, number one, and I like to see cash on hand, number two. Why? Because cash will tell me if they need to raise more cash or not. The way you can raise money is through debt or equity or other means, but usually debt and equity are the most common ways to issue equity to fuel operations, right? They need to keep the lights on. They need to keep the scientists being paid, okay? So if you have enough cash on hand to fund like the next 9 to 12 months, I'm not concerned because now they are starting to produce year-on-year, quarter-on-quarter growth numbers that the market is becoming more confident in and hence bidding up the price, okay? And the shorts are getting murdered, okay? So I want to answer the question, are they going to raise equity? Because if they're going to raise equity again, they're going to dilute me, okay? I don't want that. If they dilute me, I'll probably sell and then buy back at a lower price. That's just the trader in me. And if they raise debt or Patrick Soon-Shiong, PSS, funds himself, which he's been doing, he's been funding this stuff himself a lot of the time, that's more preferable. But Patrick's going to do what's best for Patrick and IBRX in the long term. So I wanted to say that, okay? And then also direct competition is really, really interesting. I don't know the competitors. I don't know who's on board. Merck, Johnson & Johnson, Ferring, others. So I went over and this is really important to me because as a finance person, I look at price to sales, price to earnings, ROE, ROA, quick ratio, current ratio, but I look at those things versus their competitors to see where the value is, okay? So low price to sales, low price to earnings versus Merck versus Pfizer, that's going to be where the value is to me, just using my experience. So I went over to Grok and I said, okay, let's have Grok answer this for me. If you had to guess what is the end result of this company in 2026, based on everything you see from 2025 and early 2026, what's going to happen? Well, and if you want to screenshot this, please go ahead. Based on the trajectory from 2025, marked by the explosive revenue growth for ANKTIVA, 700% year on year, we know all this, right? Regulatory wins, Saudi approval, checkpoints being met, full by Q2 with BLA target by year end, and durable responses in CAR-NK trials. The AI is giving everybody likes the price, right? So I'd guess ImmunityBio ends 2026 in a strengthened position, likely achieving positive cash flow or near break even, with stock trading in the $10 to $15 range. This says risks include competition or dilution, as I was saying. Dilution if financing is needed, but momentum from institutional buying. Well, I didn't know this. Vanguard is buying and upgrades to buy with average price target $11.50. Okay. Suggest upside outweighs downside. So thank you, Grok. Thank you for that opinion. Now, the next thing I wanted to know is if IBRX can cure or significantly treat bladder cancer, glioblastoma, and lung cancer, who are the true competitors? Because I see Merck, I see Pfizer, I see Ferring. I get confused. And the response was very interesting to me from a financial perspective. What it basically said in the NMIBC focus, which is the bladder, I believe. Yeah, bladder cancer, NMIBC. The competitors are Johnson & Johnson, Merck, complete response. To me, that's garbage. I mean, 41% complete response. Come on. IBRX is blowing that away. 51%, not much better. Okay. So to me, this says there aren't that much competitors. Okay. Okay. IBRX is going to kick their ass. Glioblastoma. Okay. Well, this is really cool. Northwest Biotech, Imvax, Merck, and Innate. So this tells me something really key is that these competitors are not the same as these competitors. And then small cell lung cancer, these competitors are not these competitors. What does this tell you? It tells you the IBRX is unique. The hype is real. And I got to buy more if it dips. So that's what I wanted to cover today. But what do you guys think? Do you have more information than me? Can you tell me about, can you confirm or deny that, IBRX is so unique that it really doesn't have a competitor because the competitors compete in the form of cancer. But if IBRX is an IL15 and an IL15 really has no competition, then we are looking at a real, true winner here. These competitors highlight the crowded NK immunotherapy space with ImmunityBio differentiating by explain this thought. And Grok says, ImmunityBio's key differentiators come from two tightly integrated elements that few competitors match as comprehensively, IL-15 and off-the-shelf natural killer platforms. So it's confirming my suspicions, and I love that, okay? So I'm going to end the show here with a lot of enthusiasm, and again, do your own research. I'm not your financial advisor, but leave a comment, drop your like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video.